Hello, everyone. I'm Chris. I'm here to talk about crisis and interaction design. I'm a designer, and I'm interested in what it takes to make these projects work from the point of view of web development and community organizing. And traditionally, we would talk about this as an issue of information management. Here's a traditional cycle view of the flow from data to analysis and education into action. I think that these problems around data are largely solved, although they're fascinating, and I could talk about them at length. What's more interesting to me is the social piece, and I've been trying to visualize what the social movement looks like that's dealing with these problems. And this is a frequent organizational representation, and I drew it embarrassingly enough for 2 years in my notebook as I've been working on the Ushahidi project and the Swift River project, and it's totally wrong. And if you have a model of this for your organization, then Godspeed and good luck. Because this isn't the way that open source works. It's not something that you can impose, even though the temptation to enlarge the base of that pyramid feels so compelling. The true open source model is actually this. It's not about collaboration, it's about getting shit done. And you do these things on your own because there's no real way to tell other people what to do. That's contrary to the whole spirit of open source, right? I mean, anyone in here who's a hacker understands this perspective. And then the result is this, and Godspeed and good luck trying to manage this mess. But the goodness comes out of the overlap in these diagrams, and I was so happy to see that we've already addressed this. And I think that this is the dynamic that we know that we have to work with now. So the question for me is, well, how can we look back towards other movements that look like that also for inspiration? And in thinking about it that way, I started to immediately feel that the civil rights movement in the United States was a real source of inspiration for how that might work. And so we can look to their tools and their strategies and start to think about what it is that they were using to achieve these incredible goals, like the Voting Rights Act in 1965, which was an incredible watershed moment. And lo and behold, they didn't even have the network. So what does that imply for our techniques and our tools for community management and building these web applications? I think that the most beautiful sight is people sitting around a table and doing boring paperwork and really actually addressing some needs, because the power is in moving that data through that cycle. And then the energy comes from people coming around the table together. And I saw a lot of this in the crisis camp movement and in some of the other bar camps that we've been working in. It all looks like open source processes to me, generating these ideas and achieving these goals. So if we look towards the past as a source of inspiration, maybe we need a way to ground our perspective. And that's why we printed every report that came into the Ushahidi Haiti instance. And it's not an elaborate printing job here. It's really more of a zine with automated typesetting. And the point is not to impress you with how rich the presentation is, but to impress upon you what it looks like to take a ream of paper and to print one of these reports on each one. It does happen to correspond to approximately one ream here. I located my 85-year-old. It's some of the saddest material that I've ever read, and the volume is staggering when you look at it as a series of independent reports, and it would be challenging to get through even one of these. There are 24 in this box. This will be at the tech fair later for you to review. I encourage you to sit down with it and actually look at the text itself as something that we created, that we as an Earth, a planet, a movement created, and to be I'm interested in talking about what the problems with these texts are. It's not a trophy. It's problematic in many ways. There are rough spots in the data. And I'm interested in understanding what it is that we can improve those points on and that we can move forward iteratively. But for the remaining 3 minutes that I have, I'm mostly interested in taking all of this wall, and we did print it on a wall, and it's interesting to look at. It's instructive as a unit of work, I think. That's one unit of work, one iota of work, one joule or one measure of energy that we have. And I think that instead of showing as a trophy for Haiti, it is inspiring because in the future, we know that we can deal with so many more units of work. If we think about the efforts that are going on now, I think that we have something on the order of this, and maybe something on the order of 10 times that. And the available data is something on the order of, something unimaginably large. And I'm a little bit nervous to start to think about what it means to analyze those things in real time. But what do those tools look like, and what do those processes look like? I think that our challenge is to look back and to think about the fact that without the network, we still can achieve incredible things. Without the network, we actually may reveal the source of where great social change comes from. And I think that the people who come together in these rooms and begin to work understand a very different paradigm than some of the people who are designing applications. And so this is the kernel of what I would recommend to those who seek to design these systems. Remember that no one wants to be sourced. No one wants to be part of a crowd. Everyone wants to feel a sense of entitlement and the sense of a movement, and to draw on that as a source of strength in all of the difficult things that we want to work on. And if your tools don't address that in that sense, then we're liable to fail. Thank you.